What's going on, guys? It's your boy the Barber Phil here, back again with another haircut tutorial. I know it's been almost 6 months since I posted my last video, but I'm going to try my best to get right back in the swing of it, guys, so bear with me on some of these. This might not be the best video, but it's out and that's all that matters. Let's get right into it. So as you can imagine, guys, in 6 months a lot of things can change. One of the first things that I have done is I've jumped on board with Fresh Shears. If you guys haven't heard of them, do yourself a favor after this video. I'm going to have the link in my bio for you to go to their website and check it out. Basically, guys, all their shears run between $100 and $110. Okay, right off the bat, that's amazing, especially if a lot of you have Hatari Hanzos. It's the fraction of the price. We're not even going to get into that. We're not going to worry about them. We're talking about Fresh Shears right now. Their Stay Fresh program is absolutely next level. Basically what happens is, if a pair of your shears start to get dull, or if say you have a 7.5 and you want to try something shorter like the ones that I have, which are a 5.5, all you have to do, go back to their website. It's $50. You order the shears that you want. They'll send them to you. New pair. You'll put your old shears back in that package that they sent with the new ones, ship it back, done. So you don't even have to pay for sharpening. You can literally get a brand new pair of shears every time. So guys, do yourself a favor, go check them out. Alright guys, don't judge whenever the camera zooms in. I promise I'd already taken a couple strokes through here. That's why there's hair on here. It's not that I didn't clean them off. But basically, this is a feather razor. I guess a thinning razor is something you can call it. Instead of using blending shears on top to add texture, or the chunking shears that I was using before, you can wet the hair, kind of comb with one hand, and then use the feather razor right along where you combed, and basically that's just going to kind of lighten the hair up. It's going to add texture. So it's just a different technique than using the blending shears. It's actually a little bit faster probably than thinning shears, and so it's just a new technique that I'm trying. Went ahead, blow dried the hair, and now we're going to get right into the fade. Alright guys, so this hadn't changed much since the last video I posted. We're still sitting in our bald line with the detailers, and then I'm flipping that trimmer over, and we're initially flicking that line out so that when we come in with our Ergo here in a second and we close that clipper all the way up, this clipper will remove that detailer line, and we don't have to come back in at the end of the fade, use our trimmers and buff out that line. It's already done, so we don't have to worry about that. So this is the Ergo. And I'll go ahead and tell you real quick, this is the fusion blade, the stretch bracket, and the deep tooth cutting blade. It's a lethal combination. So guys, do yourself a favor, go check those out. I don't know how I haven't discovered the combo before, but we have now, and we're gonna ride it. So initial open section, all the way open, halfway open, all the way closed, takes out that bottom line, no problem, got it knocked out. Now the next step is we're gonna do an open one. Now that's a little bit different than what I was doing before. I kind of copied that off of Jesse Elite. I see a lot of his videos on Instagram, and I always find myself watching at least the first few initial steps, and so I always like the way it comes out. So we're going to do about 3/4 of an inch section here. I don't think it's quite as wide as the initial open section, but we're going to set it in. It's just a nice clean line, come through there. And then we'll follow it up by using that magic eraser, that Wahl Premium half guard, halfway open, take out that line, and then we can get right into removing the dark and the bulk, kind of closer to that parietal ridge area. So the clipper in this next clip is also new, and oddly enough I stumbled upon this one by accident. I was looking to replace my Super ZRs, and I was looking between the Super ZR2 and the Oster Octane. There was an Octane in our shop. I'd already used it, so I kind of was familiar, but then having the Super myself, I was familiar with them. Found this one on accident though. This is actually marketed towards dog grooming, if you can imagine, but whenever I found them, I did as much research on them as I could. I found some other videos on YouTube of barbers using them. They're literally the exact same as the marketed towards barbering Oster Octane, but on a side note, they're cheaper. So I went with these, plus the color scheme I like way better than the graphite one. So I was cool with that. I'll have the link in the description for these as well. I got them from Tractor Supply. There might be other places you can get them, but that was the cheapest I had found. We came in, we figured out where that parietal ridge area really was, and we took a 3.5 blade up and off right there just to lighten the side up some. We followed it up by using the 2 blade just below it as we're fading down, and then at the very bottom we're going to use the 1.5, kind of flick up through there, and then just like any other fade, use that magic eraser half guard, open it, close it wherever you see need, and you can go ahead and get the side blended out, and we'll get on to the next section. So this is the same FX that I was using before. Only difference is I probably have a new blade on there, but I did stick with the original gold blade. It's hands down still my favorite blade that Babyliss has. And so all I'll do is as it gets dull or gets louder, I'll just replace it every time because these things are still money. But we're gonna get right into this next side, kind of the basic same exact steps. We're gonna come in, match up this bald line with the line on the opposite side so that our fade is symmetrical. We're gonna flick up through here so that we know when we come to our closed clipper, it will take out this detailer line without any issue at all. So we're going to come in, we'll use that Ergo full open section, about 1 inch. Then we'll close it up halfway. We'll drop down, flick about halfway to 3/4 of the way up through this initial open section. We'll close it up all the way, and that should just completely remove that bottom line. If for whatever reason, with your clipper set, if maybe your clipper is not completely zero gapped, that step may not work for you. You may have to come back in with your trimmer, and you may have to flick at a hint of a line. One thing you could do to try to avoid that is flick out even more with that initial ball line trimmer that you're using. That's why I don't use my FXs. I think that they would hit so close that I wouldn't be able to remove it with a closed clipper. So that's why I have 2 different trimmers. Try to keep one a little bit more backed off than the other, and so it makes the fading initial steps a lot easier. Just coming in right there, we're creating that 1 inch, one open section, just a nice clean section through there. We didn't have to go through and make a bunch of different passes because that's all we're doing is just creating that one open section. And then we're going to go ahead and start removing it with that magic eraser, the Wahl Premium half guard. Start with it about halfway open, flick up through there, about halfway to 3/4 of the way up through that initial open section. Start to close it up, and you can fade it out. As you guys can see, I did probably close it up a little bit too much right there, so I'm gonna have to open it up all the way, about 3/4 of the way back through the back there, and kind of blend that out a little bit better. I am still trying to get slightly adjusted to the stretch bracket because it does change things up a little bit. If you have the notch system, it's kind of set as is. Obviously whenever you take the notch system out on your clipper, it's all feel. So I haven't been using this combo with the Fusion, the stretch bracket, and that deep tooth blade for maybe a few weeks. We're still trying to get a little bit adjusted, so there are times where you might actually close it or open it a little bit more than what you did on the opposite side. So as you use a system more, or as you use a clipper more, you'll get more familiar with it. It'll become muscle memory, and you'll start to figure it out pretty quick. But same thing, guys. Started with that 3.5 blade up and off. We're going to fade down. We're going to use the 2 blade, kind of flick up through that dark line still at the bottom, and then we'll come in the 1.5 blade, below that. Should just about knock it out. Any other hints of lines we have, we'll come back in, use either the half blade or the half guard or the 1 guard, and fade them out. We'll be good to go. Alright guys, so I don't really know what the plan is for the channel right now. I'm going to continue to try to be posting, obviously more than what I have been. I'm going to try to do like 1 every 2 weeks. If we can get it together, I'll do 1 a week. I don't know that I'll ever get back to doing like 2 a week like I was before. It's something moving. When we moved shops, I think that's when it changed a lot. We got busier. Some of the free time that I had to work on the videos at the shop kind of got cut into by actually being behind the chair, which is actually, I mean, that's a positive. I'll take that all day long. But you try not to take a lot of your work home with you as best you can, especially when you have kids and you have a family. And that's kind of what happened, guys. I got to the point where I was having to work on the videos a lot more at home, take away time there, and so it just got easier to just not do them. Now I'm going to try to figure out ways to kind of make both work, and so that you guys can both benefit by seeing the videos, hopefully take something away from the video, whether it be a clipper, a trimmer, a shear, a technique, an encouragement. I mean, if that's what it might be, hopefully you guys can pick something up from it, and then we'll just go from there, guys. We'll see what happens. So I appreciate you guys sticking with me. The channel did actually continue to grow. I was really surprised as I would check in. I tried to keep up with the comments on YouTube as best as possible, and every time I would go into the channel, I would be amazed that it continued to grow, and that's all credit to you guys. So if you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed, please do me a favor, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I promise I will do my best to make it worth your while to just hit that button. I mean, like that's a big task or anything, but it means a lot, it helps out a lot, and so I appreciate you guys for sticking with me so long, and we're just going to continue to try to grow and see where it goes from here, guys. Alright guys, so here's the before. Like I said, we did a mid-bald fade. We dropped it in the back somewhat. We shortened the top just a little bit. He kind of wears it over to the side and just flips the front back some. We used that feather razor to texture it up a little bit, to thin it out a tad bit. And so hopefully you guys took something away from this video. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Let's see if we can get to 5K. I don't have a lot. I can't ask for a lot because you guys have already done so much for me, but I am going to see if we can get to 5K. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'll catch you on the next one. The Barber Phil, I'm out.